What's good, guys? It's your boy Nico Talks Football, back with another video after the game between Barcelona and PSG today at the Montjuic in the league phase of the Champions League match day 2. Unfortunately, Barcelona have lost 2-1 to PSG from a last-minute winner by Gonzalo Ramos, and that came from a cross from Hakimi. Overall in the game, I thought Barcelona played very well in the first 35 minutes. After PSG got that equalizer, it was all PSG for the rest of the game, I would say. Overall, let's just go through the events of the game. I thought, to begin, Barcelona was dominating a lot with the possession too, and with the chances. Starting off with the first minute of the match, first of all, Lamine Yamal takes on like 5 players. And from when that happened, I thought it was going to be Lamine Yamal's night. But it ended up not being. He didn't have his best games, I would say, but we're going to talk about that later. I would say, I thought Barcelona, as I said, the first 35 minutes were extremely the better side. A lot of chances created. It started with, first chance of the game was a ball that Lamine Yamal played outside of the boot. Beautiful pass by Lamine Yamal to Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres rounds the keeper, but he hits it how you're supposed to hit it, in my opinion. He beats the keeper, and he shoots it on goal. When I don't know if you saw Zabarini or whatever. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. The PSG defender. It's a great clearance from him. I don't know if Ferran Torres saw him, but the best decision in that scenario, in my opinion, was for him to play the ball across the goal to Marcus Rashford, and Marcus Rashford would have had it tapping, but Ferran Torres decided to shoot. The defender cleared it off the line, so obviously that's a big chance that Barcelona should be scoring. If Barcelona score that, maybe the game goes differently, but I mean, we still got the first goal anyway, so I don't think it matters that much. Then Barcelona, so they were mostly dominating the midfield. No like clear-cut chances. The Ferran Torres was the most clear chance in the game, I would say, along with the Dani Olmo one. Those were the 2 biggest chances that Barcelona had throughout the game. I would say Barcelona, they were passing the ball around the back well. They were using the midfield well. Pedri and De Jong were very good in that first half. Lamine Yamal had some good passes and dribbles in that first half. Marcus Rashford was doing good, taking his man to the touchline and crossing the ball in. Ferran Torres, he created some chances and he got the goal. We'll talk about that a little bit. Defensively, I thought Barcelona was good in the first 30 minutes, but not because Barcelona was great defensively, but because we were able to control the possession. PSG didn't really have a lot of chances going forward, and in general, PSG didn't create a lot of chances. So it's not that Barcelona's defense played amazing the first 30 minutes. It's more of Barcelona's defense really didn't have anything to do because of how well the team was dominating the possession. And then we got on to the first goal of the game. A beautiful goal. Vitinha gives the ball away in midfield. Lamine Yamal recovers it, plays it to Pedri, who plays it out wide to Rashford. And Rashford with a beautiful one-time ball to Ferran Torres. That was a great ball by Rashford to spot Ferran Torres. Rashford, maybe when he was at Aston Villa or Manchester United, would probably want to go one-on-one with his defender and maybe create a shot for himself. But instead, he saw Ferran Torres in a better position and a beautiful ball. And Ferran Torres with a very good finish, cross goal. Barcelona got the first goal of the game. I would say after that, like Barcelona, usually in the Champions League games, after Barcelona get the first goal, they usually do give up a little bit, like in possession and just overall in the game. And that's exactly what we saw today. After Barcelona scored that first goal, I would say, I don't know, right when they scored that first goal, after they scored that first goal, PSG immediately dominated the game more, were more in possession, controlled the game more, were more effective, and just created more chances right after that goal. So I would think that maybe if there was a change in halftime, I would think yes, but the fact that Barcelona stopped controlling the game right after that goal happened I was really disappointed with that, and it's concerning for the season that Barcelona needs to really, not only do they need to control for the whole game, I know it's very hard to control for the whole game, so I'm not asking Barcelona to control the whole game, but it's important for Barcelona to go into these half times with leads. Like today, if Barcelona go into halftime with a 1-0 lead, I think the game might end a little bit differently, but obviously that wasn't the case. But what I'm trying to say is if Barcelona can maybe go into halftime with a lead, maybe they'll have a better chance in the overall game of getting a better result. A little bit after that, though, PSG go on the attack. Nuno Mendes, who was In my opinion, Nuno Mendes was sensational. Obviously, got man of the match by UEFA. I mean, I don't disagree. I thought Nuno Mendes was probably man of the match. First, before the run that he made for the goal, he also made a run before that, which Frankie de Jong took him out. He fouled him, but that run that Nuno Mendes made, he beat like 4 or 5 players, and that's just, I don't know, really sensational. He's honestly, you know how some players in the world are unstoppable? Like Lamine Yamal was last year, like Mbappe is now, and even Pedri. Nuno Mendes is one of those players where he gets the ball and he starts dribbling and running straight. It's really, you can't really stop Nuno Mendes. He's like it's almost impossible to stop Nuno Mendes when he's running with the ball straight and running directly at the defense with the ball. It's really impossible. But De Jong, in my opinion, did a really good job there to take Nuno Mendes down. He got the yellow card, obviously, but that could have even been a red because it was high and he did go studs. But fortunately for us, it ended up being just a yellow. But I wanted to bring that up because the goal that PSG scored was almost identical to that. Nuno Mendes makes a run. He doesn't even make a run. Someone plays a ball outside and Nuno Mendes just has a big space in front of him. It's not like the first attack where Nuno Mendes beats like 4 or 5. He still beats like 2 players, but it's more of he just had space in front of him. And then he cuts inside and he plays a beautiful pass. It's a good pass. It's not beautiful. Kubarsi obviously on that play makes a mistake. We'll talk about the players later. He plays a good pass into Malulu, and he just Mayulu. I don't know. He finishes it. Szczesny. I'm not really gonna blame Szczesny. I thought that was a good finish, but Kubarsi on that should be doing better. I don't know why Kubarsi slides in that instance. I think Kubarsi should be. I don't think Kubarsi gets there either way. But if he doesn't slide, he can recover. When Kubarsi decides to slide in that, he misses. Not only does he miss the ball, but he also misses the chance to recover, which gives the striker a clear one-on-one. If Kubarsi doesn't slide there, he can maybe make a recovery tackle or keep the keep the attacker in front of him. So a big mistake there by Kubarsi. I mean, it's been evident over the past years, since second half of last year, Kubarsi has been making a lot of mistakes, and I don't know if I've said this, but I think Kubarsi, in terms of a defender overall, I would take Christensen and Araujo over Kubarsi. If there was a final tomorrow, I would take Araujo over Kubarsi and Christian. I think Christensen is the best center back for Barcelona. I don't know why he's not starting, but even today, Eric Garcia was, in my opinion, miles ahead of Kubarsi. We'll talk about that later. Then we come out of halftime and it's just straight domination for PSG. They didn't look back, bro. It's just PSG decided to. Barcelona just didn't have the same control that they did in the first 35 minutes of the game. PSG in the second half, they just controlled the game better. Barcelona wasn't. They created a good chance. Barcelona did look threatening at times with their chances. It's not as if Barcelona didn't have any chances. I thought Barcelona did look dangerous at times. And the Olmo chance was the biggest chance of the game for me in the Ferran Torres. But the Olmo chance, up to that, nothing really happening. PSG were attacking, I would say, more. But not really crazy chances by PSG. The biggest chance in the second half, up until the 75th minute, came for Barcelona, and it was for Dani Olmo. So it's not as if PSG did control the game, but Barcelona did have their chances. And if Barcelona converted their chances today, there's no doubt that they win that game. A great ball by Lamine Yamal to Rashford. Or Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres plays the ball across in a very poor clearance by the defender. And right there is Dani Olmo. And in that situation, a big chance for Dani Olmo. He does it, in my opinion, he does do the right thing. He plays it low and he shoots it hard, which is the right decision. But he also needs to put some placement on that shot for me. It's good that he shot it low and hard, but for me, he needs to look up at the goal, and he beats the keeper, which is good, but there's 2 defenders on the line. And where he shoots that ball right in the middle of the goal. So, in my opinion, Dani Olmo should look up at the goal and maybe try to find the corner. Right? Even if it's not in the corner, if it's just a little bit out away from the middle, there's no way Hakimi blocks that ball, and there's no way the other central defender blocks that ball because they're standing right in the middle of the goal. By Dani Olmo shooting that ball right in the middle of the goal, he does Hakimi a big favor, and Hakimi's able to make the clearance off the line. If Hakimi makes some kind of acrobatic, crazy clearance off the line and Dani Olmo shoots it in the corner, I have no problem. But he shoots it right in the middle, so that's a big chance for Dani Olmo. He should be converting that. I don't know. That's football, though. He shot at the goal, and it ended up just falling right in the feet of Hakimi, and Hakimi makes the clearance. And then after that, 70th minute, also Barcelona did not make their first change in the game up until the 70th minute. He brought on Balde, Casado, Bernal too, or Balde, Casado, and then he brought on Bernal, and then he also brought on, I don't remember who he brought on, but I know he brought on those three, Casado, Bernal, and Balde. In my opinion, he should have brought on Balde. In my opinion, Balde should have started the match, actually. I don't. Jordan, yes, people might say he's coming back from injury, but the thing is, they said in the news that Balde was good in training and he completed his training sessions prior to the match. If you can complete your training sessions with the team, in my opinion, you should be able to start. Like Balde, the difference if it's a La Liga game against like Valencia or Sevilla, I would say rest Balde, start Martin, because the difference from Martin and Balde in those games isn't very significant because Martin is still a very decent player. But when you play the teams like PSG, Real Madrid, Liverpool, the drop off from Balde to Jordan Martin is massive. It's huge. So when you play these big teams, and not only are you playing big teams, you're playing the best fullbacks in the world, and Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. So when you're playing when Hakimi is attacking you, and you have a presence in Gerard Martin, it's not easy for Gerard Martin to keep up with Hakimi. Balde has a better chance of keeping up because of his speed, and also Balde is just a million times the player Gerard Martin is. So, in my opinion, Balde should have started the match, and Flick should have made his changes way earlier. You see that the game is getting away from you, and you see that PSG is starting to dominate the game. You cannot wait until the 70th minute to make your first changes. So, in my opinion, Casado maybe should have come earlier. Balde, if you didn't start Balde should have came in my opinion, at halftime. And then in my opinion, you should have brought like Lewandowski a little bit earlier, maybe move Ferran to the left, or kept Rashford on, or maybe just tried something different. I mean, there's not really any much players they could have subbed on because Barcelona are missing a lot of players right now. But if those three subs that he made, he should have made them earlier. That's all I can say. And then when PSG were down, it looked like the goal was coming from PSG because Barcelona really, after that Olmo chance, didn't really have a lot of chances. And then in the 75th minute, when Pedri went off, it got even worse. PSG started to dominate the game even more, and just Lee Kang-in came in, hit the post. PSG were just outright dominant in the whole second half, but after the 70th minute, especially when Pedri went off, PSG just was able to do whatever they wanted. And in the end, Vitinha spots Hakimi was very wide open. It's the high line, and Barcelona are used to giving these wingers and fullbacks a lot of space out wide, which is a mistake for me. Hakimi has way too much. Any fullback in the world is way too much space there. Never mind Hakimi, who's the best right back in the world. Way too much space for Hakimi, and that ball. If you watch Barcelona games a lot, you'll see that half of the goals that Barcelona concede are the same exact goal. It's a ball coming out the outside in a low driven cross that curls around the defender, and the striker's there to tap it in. Like, you can go back to the Celta Vigo game last year, the Real Madrid game last year, the Inter did it like multiple times last year. You can go back to the Atletico Madrid game that ended 4-4, and the game that ended 2-1. Like, you see, 75% of Barcelona's goal are conceded the same way. Ball comes through the side, and the fullback or winger puts in a low-driven cross that perfectly curls around the defender. Because remember, the high line is so high that when the fullback receives the ball, it's literally so easy for him to just play the ball straight on the ground. He doesn't have to play it in the air. He can just play it on the ground across. Because keep in mind that because the high line is so high, it's not offsides because the player's behind the ball. So that goal we see a million times Barcelona concede, and it still hasn't gotten fixed. In my opinion, that needs to get fixed. But there's also claims that he was offside. Look, I'm not really going to come into the refs and stuff like that, but there was offsides in that they showed that the image that was released, it was when Hakimi released the ball. After Hakimi released the ball, the image that was supposed to be released was obviously when Hakimi when the ball was on Hakimi's foot, which it shows that when the ball was on Hakimi's foot, Gonzalo Ramos was a step offside. But those are the mistakes. I mean, Barcelona still played poorly and they deserve to lose the game. Also on the referee, Nuno Mendes should have been sent off with a second yellow card. He clearly takes down Yamal right outside the box. He misses the ball and he takes down Yamal, and Yamal there, if he doesn't get taken down, has a free shot on goal. So I don't know how that isn't a second yellow for Nuno Mendes. And if PSG go down to 10 men in the 60th minute, that game changes completely and Barcelona might even come away with the win. So now we get onto the players. Starting with Szczesny. I thought Szczesny was decent overall. Not really much to do. He didn't really provide that comfortable that Joan Garcia has. Like, I wasn't really comfortable seeing Szczesny, but overall, I think maybe he could have done better on the second goal, but look, they're one-on-ones with the keeper, so I'm not going to blame Szczesny. Koundé today, I don't know. I think Koundé, in my opinion, got really outclassed today. Not only did he not offer a lot going forward, but defensively he was poor too. That young player, the 19-year-old Mbaye or something like Mbaye, was really going past Koundé. There was one instance where he breezed past Koundé. So Koundé not only attacking but defensively today was very poor. And then obviously Nuno Mendes really dominated Koundé today. I feel like Koundé could not stop Nuno Mendes whatsoever. So overall from Koundé, not a great game. Next, Pau Cubarsí. Another mistake from Cubarsí. It's not a great performance from Cubarsí, who has been poor since the second half of last year. Not that he's a bad defender, but he makes a lot of mistakes. Like 2 minutes, and they're costly. They're not mistakes that we get away with. They're mistakes that lead to goals. And I don't know, Cubarsí just hasn't shown that level that he did 2 seasons prior under Xavi. So Cubarsí is a very good center back, but he makes too many mistakes in my opinion, and today he just wasn't good enough. We move on to the other center back, Eric Garcia. I thought Eric Garcia today, man of the match for Barcelona. I thought Eric Garcia was Barcelona's best player today. Every recovery he made was sensational. Interceptions were sensational. 1v1 defending was sensational. Clearing the box was sensational. Every ball that PSG kind of played down the line into the box, Eric Garcia recovered it. I don't know, Eric Garcia today was just sensational in my opinion. The best player for Barcelona. Left back, Germain. We can be here an hour talking about Germain, but truth is, Germain is just not good enough for these big Champions League games against PSG, Liverpool, Real Madrid. He's not good enough. So I can sit here all day and tell you what Germain did wrong, what he didn't do good, but in the end, we know that Germain isn't good enough for this level. So we've had these conversations in the past. I'm not going to tell. Germain just isn't good enough. There's nothing to say, and especially when he comes up against Hakimi, he just can't do it. Move on to the midfield, De Jong and Pedri. I thought De Jong and Pedri were very good in the first half, obviously because Barcelona controlled the game, and for Barcelona to control the game, those two need to be very good, which they were. I thought Pedri in the first half was honestly Barcelona's best player. I thought Pedri was getting on the ball good. There were some instances where Pedri was just, he was taking the ball, and he was even going out wide sometimes. He was receiving the ball on the right, playing the ball inside, going for the 1-2, and just like his crosses were on point, his passes were good. I thought Pedri was just... Alright, for De Jong, I thought De Jong was average. I thought De Jong was very good in the first half, second half maybe not as good, but overall from De Jong, decent. Very good. I would say good from De Jong. De Jong didn't do anything wrong. He controlled the game good in the first half. Second half fell off a little bit. Pedri, I would say Barcelona's best player in the first half. The second half, Pedri did struggle a little bit. There wasn't that really control, and he struggled to get on the ball a lot second half. I didn't see Pedri on the ball a lot in the second half. So, my opinion, that's all. But I mean, Pedri he's sensational. So in my opinion, it's still a very good game for Pedri. I would say Barcelona's second best player behind Eric Garcia. We get into the attacking midfield position. Dani Olmo, I don't know. I said that Dani Olmo wasn't the correct signing for Barcelona. Not only is he not the correct signing, but he also cost 60 million, which is, I'm not happy with Dani Olmo. I haven't been happy with Dani Olmo ever since second half of last year. I think Dani Olmo is a very talented player, but he isn't showing it. And not only the chance that he missed, obviously that's big, but players can miss chances, that's fine. But his impact in the game, he didn't have an impact at all. Nothing from Dani Olmo today. No impact. The attacking midfielder is supposed to get the ball. The attacking midfielder in the team is that one creative player. The Bruno Fernandes, the Messis, the Iscos, the Iniestas. That's what a number 10 is. The attack midfielder is the creative player. And Olmo doesn't really offer that. I mean, today there's no creativity from Olmo. There's no through balls. There's no passes into the strikers. Like, there's no shots outside the box. There's like what a number 10 is supposed to offer. Olmo didn't offer any of that today, and very disappointed with Dani Olmo. I would say easily Barcelona's worst player today. Move on to the right hand side, Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal, decent game. Not the level that I want in a big game like this. I want Lamine Yamal to be like he was against Inter last year. Best player on the pitch. But when I saw Lamine Yamal go past those 5 players in the first minute, I was screaming. I was happy because I was like, okay, Lamine Yamal actually came to play. But I mean, he just didn't get in the game. He had the first half. Lamine Yamal played very good. Don't get it wrong. Lamine Yamal played very good in the first half. He had some very good passes. That pass that he played to Ferran Torres, which was the big chance in the game, and some other passes he played. But not only did Lamine Yamal did some very good things, but Lamine Yamal also did some very not so good things. And what I mean by that is he did make a lot of mistakes. He did play a lot of passes that were intercepted, and he didn't really have a lot of shots. Like when you see Lamine Yamal, he usually is very good at taking his defender one-on-one and creating his own shots, but today he didn't really have that. But the problem with Lamine Yamal for me was the second half. He didn't get involved at all. He was just non-existent in the second half. Like Pedri, almost non-existent in the second half. And in games like this, when you want to win, you want your best player to show up and be existent and be your source of creativity. And Lamine Yamal just, in the second half, he didn't really show anything. And then we move on to the Marcus Rashford. Similar with all the players, the first half was good from Rashford. He was taking on players. He was getting to the edge of the box, crossing it back. He was causing some trouble for Hakimi, but in the second half, just again non-existent. So again, everyone for Barcelona was decent, but when everyone's average, it all just comes out to be average. So we didn't have any players in the second half that really stood out, apart from Eric Garcia, who I thought was sensational. Then we move on to the striker position, Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres did get his goal, to be fair, so I'll give credit for Ferran Torres. Look, people might say Ferran Torres didn't play well today, but look, he should have had 2 goals, correct? But the job of the striker is to score goals, and Ferran Torres did score his goal today, and he put Barcelona in a good position. So overall, obviously not the best game for Ferran Torres because, to be honest, Ferran Torres maybe isn't a striker. He isn't that player who really has a lot of speed and can maybe take defenders on one-on-one. He's a good finisher, and maybe he has a decent speed. He can dribble past defenders at times, and he can combine well. But overall, he's not like a great striker. So, in my opinion, decent game from Ferran Torres. He did score his goal. So, but not like Barcelona don't have a world-class striker. If Barcelona have like a Julian Alvarez in that game, maybe it comes out to be different. But obviously, Barcelona don't have that. So, we have to work with what we have. Then on to the substitutes, Casado. Problem with Barcelona. And also Barcelona today, in my opinion, they missed, not only Balde, they missed a lot, they also missed Rafinha. I mean, Rafinha, this is what people don't value with Rafinha, is his running in behind, first of all, which no player from Barcelona did that today. Marcus Rashford didn't make runs in behind, and Lamine Yamal didn't make runs in behind, and Ferran Torres didn't either. So the only player, when Rafinha's in the game, he makes those runs in behind, and his pressing stands out more than... Who pressed for Barcelona today? There was no pressing from Barcelona. When Rafinha's in the game, he's pressing all the time. So a lot of people like to say Rafinha depends on Lamine Yamal. The only reason Rafinha is good is because of Lamine Yamal. But we also need to know that Rafinha also creates a lot for Lamine Yamal as well. So they work together. So when Lamine Yamal didn't have Rafinha today, that was also a reason I think Lamine Yamal didn't have the best game. And we did miss Rafinha today, and we also missed Balde, as I said. Fermin Lopez, Fermin in this game would have been perfect, but again, people are saying PSG had absences, but so did Barcelona. Barcelona were missing Fermin Lopez. I think if Fermin Lopez plays that game, he does better than Olmo. I think if Rafinha plays that game, obviously, it's a whole different game. And then if Balde's on that left-hand side, I think it's a really different game if you think about it. Fermin Lopez, Rafinha, and Balde are 3 of, I would say, Barcelona's most important 5 to 6 players in my opinion. Rafinha and Balde clearly are 5 of Barcelona's best players. Fermin Lopez is just outside there. So onto the subs though. Casado, didn't see much from Casado. Maybe he brought on Casado for control, but look, Pedri might be tired, but this is a game you need Pedri, and no doubt you need Pedri in this game. So I don't know why he stepped off Pedri for. Not great from Hansi Flick. His decision making wasn't great. Put on Bernal, which I was very surprised. You haven't played Bernal. First of all, Bernal is coming back from a ACL injury, so he's been out for a year. You didn't play Bernal the whole. You've played him for like 5 minutes for the past 2 games, but you haven't played him in a whole game against the La Liga teams that we've played, which haven't been great. Oviedo isn't a great La Liga team, and then on the weekend we played against Sociedad, who aren't a great La Liga team. So you didn't choose to play him against there. Why would you bring him in a big game against PSG? And it showed because Bernal really wasn't. He didn't really do anything because he hasn't really had any game time yet. So that wasn't a great decision. He put on Balde. Not enough time for Balde to make an impact. I would say though, when Balde came on, you did see a little bit more pace on the left. That's about it though. Balde really didn't show a lot, but overall from Barcelona, disappointing result. It's look the thing for me is that Barcelona came in this game saying, we all said that we wanted this game, we wanted to beat PSG, we wanted to show that we are the best team in the world, but right now that's just not the case. PSG was a better team today and they fully deserved the victory, and Barcelona just isn't at that level yet. Yes, Barcelona is a top 4 team in the world, but they're not at PSG's level, and we saw that today. So disappointed with the result, but look, we still have 6 more games in the Champions League. That was the hardest game out the way. I still think Barcelona will qualify. Obviously, we have Olympiacos next in the Champions League. Then we play Chelsea. We also play Slavia Prague, Copenhagen, and another team, I think. But Barcelona is going to qualify, and they should qualify in the top 8. But it would have really... This was also a game to test where Barcelona's level is at, to see if Barcelona really is like the top team in the world, or if they still have things to work on. And we saw today that we have things to work on, specifically with the defense. Defensively, Barcelona weren't good enough, and in some areas like the attacking midfield, the finishing, the Barcelona still do have a lot of work to do, but it's good that it's early in the season. So overall, yeah, disappointing result, but we move on. We got a game on the weekend against Sevilla, so look, football moves on. It's only October. We're going to keep on playing it. I think Barcelona still has a very good team, and when we get our players back from injuries, I think fully fit Barcelona can maybe challenge even more and do better what they did today. So I'll see you guys in the next video, but until next time, Nico out.